告げた未来夢理想に変える
I have to admit, I was surprised, Ryuga. I never thought you'd ask me to play tennis as a way to get to know each other.
Is it a problem for you?
Not at all. But when you first invited me to play, did you know how good I was?
Yes. I'll be fine, though. It's been a while, but at one time I was actually the British junior champion.
Ryuga, were you raised in the UK?
I lived in England for about 5 years when I was younger, but save your breath. Nothing in that story would reveal Elle's true identity, I promise you. Well, since it's our first match, why don't we just play a single set? First one to 6?
That's fine by me.
This is just a friendly game of tennis, nothing more. In and of itself, it won't determine if Light is Kira, but I know Kira hates to lose. Hey! 15 love.
Whoa, Ryuga, you sure don't mess around.
He who strikes first wins.
What do you mean you're not at liberty to say?
I'm very sorry, sir. We're under orders from Elle not to discuss the case with anyone, including you.
I'm not asking for details here, just what you're doing and where.
I'm very sorry, sir.
You know, Yagami, it's been 4 months since this case came to the public's attention, and they want results. People are saying that the NPA is incompetent, that Elle is incompetent.
With all due respect, sir, the rest of the department runs away with their tails between their legs, and we're incompetent? Do you have any idea how many people are left at Task Force headquarters these days? If you're concerned with public opinion, then you'll want to suppress the fact that most of our detectives would rather let a serial killer roam free than risk their lives. Please excuse me.
Yagami, what about this Elle character? Can he be trusted?
In my opinion, he's a lot more capable than we are. Right now, even as we speak, he's risking his life.
Are these two really amateurs? Who are they anyway?
I think their names are Light Yagami and Hideki Ryuga. These are the same two guys who scored perfect on the exam.
Relax, Light. While it's true that Kira hates losing, it's also true that most people would rather win than lose. It's human nature.
Either way, I'm not going to let him win.
Look at that. He's going for the win.
That's 4 games all. Light Yagami to serve.
Oh, you won't believe this. I thought I'd heard the name Light Yagami somewhere before, so I checked. He was the 0203 junior high tennis champion. Apparently, during the third-year awards ceremony, he announced that he was hanging up his racket, and I guess he hasn't played competitively since.
Hey, what about my Ryuga? Don't tell me you haven't noticed him holding his own against this former junior high champ.
I can see the wheels turning, Light Yagami. I'm already in your head. Because I wanted to play tennis with you, you'll assume that I'm preparing to take a step closer, laying the groundwork to get to know you better. However, I'm sure you'll tell me you need to know if you can trust me first, and of course the only way to win your trust will be to share what I know about Kira.
To win, you must attack!
Game and set! Won by Light Yagami! 6 games to 4!
Just as I expected, you beat me.
It's been a while since I had to play that hard. I'm feeling kind of thirsty. Plus, there's something I wanted to ask you about. You want to go somewhere for a drink?
You humored me with the tennis match. The least I can do is answer some of your questions. But before this conversation goes any further, there's something I must tell you.
What's that?
I suspect that you, Light Yagami, are in fact Kira. Now, if you still want to ask me something, then please go ahead.
You think I'm Kira?
Well, when I say I suspect you, it's only a 1% possibility. That aside, I don't mind telling you that once I'm sure you aren't Kira, and I can verify that your deductive skills are as strong as I think they are, I'd like nothing more than to have you work with me on this investigation.
This coffee shop is one of my favorites in the area, and if we sit here, there's no chance of anyone overhearing us.
Thanks for showing me this place. I can see why you like it.
Not to mention, we're so out of the way here, no one's gonna give you a hard time about the way you sit.
I don't sit like this because I want to. I have to sit like this. You see, if I were to sit normally, my deductive skills would immediately be reduced by roughly 40%. So, what was it you wanted to ask me?
Right. I'm sure that can wait until you're convinced that I'm not Kira. So please, let's talk about whatever you want to.
You're under no obligation to do this, but would you mind submitting yourself to a test of your deductive reasoning skills?
Sure, why not? Sounds like fun.
All right, then. We can begin by taking a look at these. Photographs of 3 notes written by prison inmates while under Kira's control just prior to their deaths. None of this information has been made public. You can take as long as you want to look them over. Please let me know what you think.
Very interesting. It would be quite amazing to learn that not only could Kira kill others, but could also control his victims' actions. I think Kira wrote these, and it seems he's encoded a message for you as well, almost as if he's mocking you. If you line these notes up side by side and take a look at the first letter of every line, it reveals a message. Rearranging it like this gives you... L, do you know? Gods of death love apples. But there are obvious print numbers on the back of all these photographs. Arrange it in that order, we get... L, do you know? Love apples, gods of death. That doesn't sound right. And based on that, it's hard to believe that Kira would have wanted you to read it this way.
That's incorrect.
Huh?
The thing is, there were actually 4 photographs. When we add this one, it reads... L, do you know? Gods of death who love apples have red hands.
But seeing as I only had 3 photographs to work with, my deduction was perfect.
No, it wasn't. The truth is, there were 4 of them. If you'd figured that out, it would have been perfect. Even though you knew the message was incomplete, you decided that there were only 3 notes. You never even considered that there might be a 4th. What do you make of that?
Well, you got me there. I didn't think of that. In any case, the likelihood this message will lead you to Kira is not very great. Besides, we all know gods of death don't exist.
If you were me, faced with someone who might be Kira, how would you go about establishing this person's innocence or guilt? You'd need to be absolutely sure.
I would probably try to get him to say something that was never made public in any way. Something that only Kira could know. Kinda like what you were doing just now.
Truly amazing. What's incredible is that I've asked countless detectives that same question, and it took most of them minutes to even come up with an answer. But you immediately thought of a scenario in which Kira is speaking directly to the investigator. I'm impressed. You'll make a fine detective, Light.
But it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The more impressive my answers, the more of a suspect I become.
Yes, it's about 3% now. However, it's made me that much more determined to work with you on this investigation. You see, I'm in a position where even if you are Kira, it would still be to my benefit to have you working alongside us. Do you know why I'd say that?
If I cooperate with you, there's a chance I can help the investigation to move forward. And if I'm Kira, I might reveal myself. In other words, whether I'm Kira or not, you stand to gain either way. It's a very smart move on your part. But I think you might be getting the wrong idea. It's true that I do have an interest in the Kira case, and yes, detective work is a hobby of mine. But I know that I'm not Kira, and I certainly don't want to be killed by him. Besides, what proof have you been able to give me that you yourself aren't Kira? I mean, it hardly seems fair for just one of us to be investigated, wouldn't you say? At this point, neither of us can prove that we're not Kira. However, if you are in fact L, I don't imagine it would be that hard for you to prove it to me. I think I'd be convinced if, say, my father or someone else from the task force headquarters was able to confirm your identity. If you can't do that, then I'm afraid I just won't be able to help you.
You sure talk a lot, don't you, Light? Typical for someone who hates losing. I think that's 7%. Could it really be him? I don't remember saying you couldn't meet anyone from Task Force headquarters to verify my identity. I'm currently working alongside your father, as well as several other senior detectives from the NPA. Now, if I understand you correctly and I take you to Task Force headquarters, you'll help us with the investigation. Am I safe in making this assumption? Excuse me.
Oh, there goes mine.
Yes?
Ryuzaki, I have some bad news.
Light, your father is...
Light, it's your... My father. He had a heart attack.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Have them call home if you need me to bring anything. Light, you take care of him, okay?
Sure. So the doctors think stress was the only cause?
Yeah. To be honest, I thought it was Kira when I first collapsed, but I'll be all right. It seems I've been pushing myself a bit too hard lately.
Indeed. It must have added to your stress knowing that Light is a suspect in this investigation.
You actually told my father that?
Yes. In fact, I've told him everything. It's true, he even knows that I am L.
That's correct. This man is L. To protect his identity, we on the task force refer to him as Ryuzaki. But make no mistake, it's him. So, Ryuzaki, now that you've had the chance to talk to my son, is he cleared as a suspect?
When I say I suspect him, you should know it's very minor. We've gone over this, but I'll explain it again. Not long ago, Kira killed 12 FBI agents who'd come to Japan to assist us. They were instructed to follow people connected to the Japanese police. One of these agents, Ray Pember, exhibited unusual behavior before he died.
I understand, and I was one of the people Ray Pember was investigating before he died. It only makes sense I'd be a suspect. Nope, to be more precise, there's no one else you could suspect.
I find Light's deductive powers quite impressive. He's always quick and to the point.
Ryuga, I'd like to help with the investigation. My father has erased any doubts I might have had regarding your true identity. Also, I'd like nothing more than to catch Kira so I can prove once and for all that I'm not him.
No, Light. This is a time in your life when you should be studying to become a police officer. It won't be too late to join us once you are done.
Come on, Dad, what are you talking about? Who knows how many years that'll take? Besides, don't you remember my promise? That if something ever happened to you, I would find Kira and make sure he gets executed.
I refuse to believe that my son could turn out to be Kira.
This doesn't seem like an act to me. Or if it is, it's too cheesy.
Light, listen to me. Kira is pure evil. We can all agree on that. But recently I've started thinking of this whole situation in a different way. What is truly evil is the power to kill people. And any person who has come to possess this kind of power is cursed. No matter how you use it, no true happiness can be obtained like that. Not by killing other people.
I think you're absolutely right. If Kira is just a normal person who somehow obtained this awful power, I would say that he's cursed.
Ryuzaki, I'm sorry for all this trouble, but I'll be back at work as soon as the doctors let me out of here.
Excuse me. Visiting hours were over 10 minutes ago.
Ryuga, what would it take to get you to believe that I'm not Kira? Please, isn't there something?
If you aren't Kira, it won't be necessary. Let things run their course and the truth will be revealed.
I can't take this anymore. Put yourself in my position. How do you think it feels to be accused of being Kira?
It was one of the worst feelings ever.
What if you were to lock me up for a month in a place with no TV or any other kind of access to the outside world and keep a constant watch over me?
Would any normal person be willing to go to such extreme measures to clear their name? That's no good. I can't do anything that would deprive you of basic human rights. And furthermore, it's complete nonsense for the investigator to take suggestions from his suspect.
I understand.
Don't worry so much. Be patient. It'll become apparent to us if you're not Kira. And listening to that conversation between you and your father, I was almost convinced you might not be him. Light, please take good care of Mr. Yagami.
Oh, one more thing. I know I agreed to help with the investigation, but I don't think I'll be able to do much until my father is healthy again.
Yes, of course. Well then. Light Yagami, are you not Kira?